And we're live here in YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. And also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing this week?
Doing good. So, kind of an odd week at work with having Monday and Tuesday off with where Veterans Day fell in the week, but it was kind of a nice break though. Good break, and we're finally caught up with work, so things should start kind of slowing down a little bit. And but yeah, and we're in a little bit of a heat wave for the fall, as I think we're trending to be like in the low 70s today. So that'll
Wow.
be nice to have that cool weather. Went out doing some yard work this afternoon, so
Wow,
got to
that's...
get those leaves picked up.
Yeah, I should be doing that. Maybe I'll see if I can do that during nap time or something today. Because it's a busy day here. So...
Gotcha, Mike. There's no esports from what I heard from circling back the last week. But what, what's tying up your time this time of year at the school?
Well, we have concerts, and this week is the musical.
Mm.
So, so yeah, working on the musical, working on that stuff. I was there till 10:30 last night. I'm going back in early to do some work at the school itself. So we work, and then we have. So it's gonna be crazy. We'll make it.
Gotcha. Well, Mike, hopefully this is a good distraction for you, as it's always fun to come around and talk the weekend sports with you.
Yep.
But Mike, we'll be talking some baseball highlights as we're circling back. It was award season this week in the MLB, as well as maybe finally giving our thoughts on what the Cubs should be focusing on this off season with the winter meetings um, going on next month.
Yep.
Mike, what else are we going to be talking on?
Rich, we also got the NFL this week, whole slew of everything that we got, except we're not going to do our power rankings. We're going to save those for next week. And, Rich, we might be able to finally get into some of our quick hits that have been kicked down the can quite a ways. So let's plan on talking about some banana ball. With that, Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back. Okay, Rich, before we get into all of that, we got a big old poll question to do. This week's poll question is fireworks versus trick-or-treating. We had 8 votes on this one. Good
We
turnout.
did have 8 votes. I went with fireworks.
Okay.
I think while I normally don't like dealing with the crowds that come with fireworks, I think I enjoy doing that rather than trick or treating or passing out candy at the house, just because of how our house layout just isn't conducive to for trick or treating.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked fireworks because I like to blow stuff up.
Yeah, and you like to do them. I like to go watch them. I haven't really done fireworks.
So,
All right, Mike. Trick or treating had 2 votes with Brandon Close and Nick Rice.
Yep.
Joining us with fireworks are my mom, Pam, Matt Jensen, your wife, DL, and Eric Thompson. So thank you for everybody for voting on our poll question. And because we're kind of got a little bit of a time constraint, we're just going to put our 2 wild card activities against each other this week, and then we will start all activities, kind of like, I guess, in like an all activities poll question next week, where we'll have some time to rank all the activities and re-put them into a bracket. So this week it'll be Mike's wild card winner of fireworks versus mine of picnics. I'll post that live after we get off the show. Mike, where can they find the poll question?
You can find it on Facebook.com/Balls and Six, Facebook.com/FansOfBallsandSix, or Rich and mine's page. With that, Rich, let's head into the topics of the week. Let's get into baseball. Let's go with Cubs week, or what our final thoughts on the season are. Let's do that first. Then we'll get into the awards, and then we'll get into we'll do the Cubs stuff, and then we'll get into the awards stuff. So, first, man, what a season. We both thought that this team was going to be good, but we weren't sure how great, I think, is a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think we both had them winning the division. You had them going all the way to the ALCS before losing to the Dodgers, who we thought at the beginning of the year kind of had a mindset of, all right, who's going to finish this year? With how good the Dodgers looked on paper. They didn't disappoint, although the Blue Jays almost got them. But I agree with you. I don't think it was a disappointment that with the Cubs losing in the division series to the Brewers. We were kind of running on fumes with our pitching, and when you only trust your pitching staff to get you 3 innings, which might be one time through the order, maybe a second, and you're depending on that bullpen, eventually you're going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
Which is what we saw what happened in the Brewers series.
Yep. And then the Brewers did the same thing. They ran out of gas immediately afterwards. So it was a good season to watch. There were moments. There were moments I thought
Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker. Well, pretty much the first half Cubs were a great team to watch and listen to as they were running away with that division. But then the July second half Cubs, them playing good baseball, but the Brewers just playing out of their mind on that 21, 22 game winning streak. Just could not keep up. And injury happened too, as we had some Kyle Tucker injury time, or him playing through an injury, and then at the end they finally put him on the IR, on the injured reserve to get for recovery purposes.
Yeah,
that probably hurt him too.
Yeah, so the first half, I mean, they were the best team in baseball. And even the second half, they were above 500. How can you complain about that?
Mm-mm.
The toughest part,
not complaining at all.
The toughest part is that they came against what turns out to be one of the best teams in, what ended up being the best team in baseball in the second half. The Brewers, like you said, playing out of their mind. So,
yep. They were winning games in every way imaginable. Comeback wins, blowouts, close games. Didn't matter. They were just winning ball games.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at it at all. I think it was a good. I said at the beginning of the year that I thought this team was not a 2016 Cubs. I don't even think, to me, that they were a 2014 Cubs. I thought they were closer to a 2014 team. There's still parts that they're missing. And with the Cubs, the biggest part that is always missing is pitching.
Yep, and already the front office is saying what their priority is going to be: pitching, and more pitching.
Yeah.
And I think that's the correct action to take, because Scott Boras looks out for his player, gets him the best deal no matter who the team is.
Yep.
not necessarily what the player wants. That's why Freddie Freeman is in LA and not Atlanta,
Yep.
because the Dodgers gave the best offer, and oddly enough, the Braves weren't given an opportunity to match. And that's why Chris Bryant is in Colorado, sitting on the injured list in Colorado,
Yeah.
because the Rockies gave the biggest contract. So I don't know if the Cubs are going to have Kyle Tucker back. I don't think he's going to be back, but we got there's options to replace.
Do you want him back?
I think I'd like him back, but if it's going to be a type of contract that you're going to start talking about, man, when does this contract end? Like what we have with Jason Hayward, almost after year one, we had probably a weekly discussion of why is Jason Hayward hitting so high in the lineup? When does this contract end? So, because he's going to want to, I think at his age, he's not going to want a 2 or a 3 year deal. He's going to want a long-term deal. And the Cubs just haven't had much success negotiating with Scott Boras' clients, really, in the past. So,
Yep.
with the way the team is currently constructed, I think I'd rather take, if it means going after starting pitching and some good bullpen arms, I think I'd let Tucker walk and then take my chances seeing what Ballesteros and Owen Casey can bring to the team on rookie contracts, rotating between the outfield and DH, and let a combination of Ballesteros, Casey, and Suzuki rotate between right field and DH to fill the lineup hole that Tucker that's going to come with Tucker walks.
So let's also talk about things that have already happened. Speaking of Japanese players, Cubs opted out of Shota's contract.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the right move?
That's a really tough one. Second Shota, don't blame him. First half Shota, great pitch, a good pitcher, a good number 2. Probably in the rotation, I'd have to say overall Shota this year. I don't know. I'm hoping they can bring him back. And I think I've seen things where there's talk that he wants to be back. So I think the option is out there that he can come back, though. I don't think the bridge is burned just because they didn't pick up the option.
That's hard for me. I think Shota was the closest thing to an ace that we saw all season, I would argue, out of anybody in the Cubs lineup.
But is he an ace?
I don't think he's an ace. You're right, and I was getting there. He was the closest. I said closest thing, which obviously indicates he's not an ace, but he is by far and away. He's by far and away the best we had. And even when he was struggling in the second half, he still wasn't bad. He wasn't good. He wasn't great. I would say he's good. I wouldn't say he's great. But he's a good... Second half was a decent maybe 2-3 guy. First half... Man, I don't even know if he's that. So,
and Andrew Kittredge was traded back to Baltimore for cash, as the Cubs chose not to pick up his option and instead traded him to Baltimore for some cash, and Baltimore picked up his option. And it also looks like they declined their option on Justin Turner, who is a bench piece, but probably an unofficial coach at this stage of his career. A good clubhouse guy, but not offering much at the plate, though.
Yeah, again, I would argue that there's guys that you have on the team not because you need them as the best guys out there, but because you want that presence as the pseudo bench coach. Um, so the question becomes,
Hmm.
and we're already in the discussion, but what do they do next?
Mm. I think you got to go after pitching. You're
I
not going to. The only thing I've heard them linked to Bo Bichette and Alex Bregman to go to take over third base, and then you shipped Shaw to utility. Makes a little bit of sense, but I think I'd rather focus on pitching and go after. And unless you can get Bregman on a team friendly deal, I've seen him also maybe even linked to Cody Bellinger. But with then you're blocking your best prospects that all happen to be in the outfield. And it isn't like, you wouldn't be able to slide Bellinger over to first base for a couple of starts a week because, well, Michael Busch also hits from the left side of the plate.
Yeah.
So I don't see what the point of bringing Bellinger back is. But there's some good free agent starters out there that could fill up that rotation. Dylan Cease, a former Cub that didn't get to pitch with the Cubs, but was a part of that Quintana trade. Michael King from San Diego would be good. A right-handed pitcher that's a high strikeout guy. Shota, Zach Gowen. Some good guys out there on the free agent market, even that are still in their 30s to where we still get good years out of them.
Do the Cubs go after what's his face from Pittsburgh?
I don't think Paul Skeens is going to go anywhere. Yeah, that there's talk that a random teammate that stayed anonymous saying he wants to pitch for the Yankees.
I mean,
but he's saying that I want to help Pittsburgh win. Not saying right now, but he wants to keep Pittsburgh wins and a trade within the division is kind of hard to do.
Yeah, but isn't he on an option this year?
He's still on his rookie contract.
Okay. I don't know. I've seen plenty of things that indicate that he might hit the market, or might get, not market, but get the trade market, as it were. And
he's on year 2 of his rookie deal.
Yep.
So I don't.
But does Pittsburgh know that they're going to just be wasting the best part of his career?
Well, I am surprised that he's not a Scott Boras client. That was going to be my next thing as well, because Paul, it doesn't matter whether you acquire him for a bunch of, you mortgage your farm system and go get him. He's not going to re-sign with you anyway. He's going to go to free agency.
Yeah.
But you're probably right, though. I mean, it comes down to, his best year, you could trade for his best years, but you still got to.
It's a long-term rental, but are you okay with a long-term rental?
I hadn't considered that one, Mike, of Paul Skeens. So
I think it's worth it. I think if nothing more, it's worth looking at, because at this point, the Cubs have to do something. If they don't have 4 starting pitchers that you're willing to put out in the playoffs, you don't, like, I understand that they lost to a team with 2 starters and
a lot of hard-throwing youngsters in their bullpen.
A bullpen that can go night after night. But
that was the difference with the Dodgers. You had Yamamoto, you had four guys. Their three starting pitchers. Any of them could have started game one between Ohtani, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Snell. Any one of those could have started game one. And if you lost game one, you were comfortable knowing, all right, the next guy up can stop it from putting us in a 2-0 hole.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think the Dodgers pitching staff was the only team that was set up like that in the playoffs.
Yep.
Everybody else was, all right, let's throw our ace out there. We got one guy that could go 5-6 innings. The rest, we'll be happy if we do 3 innings, and we'll figure it out the rest of the way.
Are there 4 pitchers that you think you would trust like that? And if so, are the Cubs able to get them? Here's the problem. The Cubs, they say the right things about we're going to spend all the money, but sometimes they don't. Like, they talk a good talk, but they don't always walk that walk. And that's the part that scares me.
Yeah, I would say, Mike, that if between trades and free agency, if we can get 2 guys, 2 newcomers, we'd be okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a step in the right direction because you got Justin Steele coming back from injury.
Does that include bringing Shota back?
I would say Shota and 2 newcomers.
That's what I was saying.
Shota and 2 newcomers, yeah. Shota and newcomers because you have...
I think Steele coming back, and then you get 2 newcomers. That gives you 3. Shota doesn't have to get back, but you have to get a decent... You have to get 2 newcomers that are good. A decent... Or do we have any prospects ready to come up?
I think we do. Jackson Wiggins. And you got Cade Horton. You got to count Cade Horton as a guy that you'd be comfortable starting in a playoff game.
And that's true. Yeah, I totally forgot about Cade. Yeah, so I think you're right. If they get 2 solid...
If they bring in two solid guys and a depth piece. 2 solid guys that you can plug into the rotation and you don't have to worry about 2 frontline starters coming from outside the organization.
Now,
you got Cade Horton. You got Justin Steele coming back at some point. It may be a depth guy, so you don't necessarily have to so you don't have to rush Jackson Wiggins up to the big league roster.
Yeah. Does that mean if you bring back Shota and you get those 2 solids, that drops Shota to 4th, right?
It does, and you still got Jameson Taillon.
And is Shota ready to be a 4th?
Shouldn't matter where you're pitching in the rotation. I don't think anybody's...
I think it does.
I think that the days of like an ace pitcher is like, well, I'm not the opening day starter. I'm not going to come here, are like gone. I mean, it's...
Yes, but we're talking about someone with a slightly different mindset than the American mindset. I guess the Japanese mindset, as we've seen in baseball over the last few years, I don't know it in general, so don't come at me with this. You're saying things that, but their team, they tend to be team first.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're right. I think Shota, if he comes back, which I'd love to see, if he comes back in a way that's meaningful, you're right. That could change tons of things for us. So, and 2 A players, maybe not A pluses, but 2 A players or 2 A pitchers starters. I think we got something cooking. See, now but again, that's all dependent on how Steele comes back.
Yeah, I think you
because
I think you almost look at Steele as the depth piece this year.
Because
take what you can get out of him. Take what you can get out of him, but he might. I would build the 5-man rotation. I would build the rotation around him, with him missing the first half of the year.
Yeah.
And view as a depth piece that's going to supplement the rotation, not be a fixture of the rotation.
Yeah. Or he comes back and is the ace that he was.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, could you imagine if he comes back and is the ace that he was, and we keep the team mostly the same? Like, just adding one ace, I think, changes a lot of the perspective on the team anyway. But, yeah, adding the extra there is huge. So, outfield. Or I guess the fielding positions, the fielding positions. Anybody that you think we need to move on from?
I think so. I think I'd like to, if you're going to find a way to trade somebody to create an open hole in the outfield, I think it'd be Ian Happ. He's been a great emotional leader with the team. But I guess if you told me, all right, you can only have one of them, Happ or Tucker, which one would you choose? Your face was surprised when I said Ian Happ would be the guy I'd move on from if it's finding a better guy.
But putting it in Happ versus Tucker is a little different. It's sad because Happ, when he started coming up, him where he was, looked like he could have been a utility guy. He played some infield. He played lots of places. And now he seems like only an outfielder. Really.
Yeah, you're right. When the Cubs drafted him, I think he was drafted as a second baseman, but you knew because of his size, he wasn't going to stick there.
Well, but
and they put him in they made him an outfielder.
And he played some shortstop. He played some third base at times. He looked like, in his first few years with the Cubs, he looked like he might be the utility guy taking over for Ben Zobrist. And now, his usefulness is lacking, other than he is the heart of this team. How do you, as the Cubs organization, I'm going to make the argument that you can't cut Happ. Happ has to retire a Cub. This gets into our next segment, kind of, but you may ask the question, Happ or Tucker, who has a Gold Glove?
Both of them do.
Both
have Gold Glove histories.
Okay,
this year
history.
It's Happ. But both have
who stays
many
healthier?
Gold Gloves.
Who's stayed healthier in the long term?
Happ.
Do you know that you can rely on day in and day out?
That's where I would go with Tucker. We only have a 1 year experience looking at Tucker on an everyday basis because obviously neither of us were following the Houston when he was putting up all-star numbers and hitting 30, 40, 35, 40 home runs year in and year out and playing Gold Glove defense.
And then I'm going to bring up the biggest point of them all. Is the cash, is the financial aspect of it, how much you have to pay, does that negate, does that negate the positive impact to the team? Because Tucker's going to be an expensive.
He will be.
He's going to be outrageously expensive.
Okay. Let me throw one other player in the mix here.
Whoa.
Okay. One water.
Okay.
Mr. Kyle Schwarber coming back to Chicago.
Schwarber coming back as a DH. That's it.
Yeah. You can't put him out in the outfield.
You can't put him in the outfield. He's just a DH. I love the idea. I really do. Come back home, hang out with Tony. you're coming back home. But all he does there is DH. That's all it is. So he doesn't. As much as I love the Hap Tucker conversation, it's a completely different dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're not looking at him to be the outfielder. Tucker can play in the outfield still. Hap plays in the outfield every day. So I love that. I want that to happen. I've actually been hoping that would happen for a while.
But then that creates a problem. Is all right if you sign Schwarber, that means that
now your DH is taken.
Your DH is taken, and you still have Suzuki on a contract, and you still got Hap on contract for a couple more years. So you're blocking your number one prospect, Owen Casey, again.
I think the concept. I think Hap stays, and I'll make the argument. So in the argument in your question, Tucker versus Hap, you keep Hap. Because, and again, I'm going to go back to financially, is Tucker's financial pull on the team worth, if you, and again, it's an if, but you don't have to because Hap is under contract, so it doesn't matter. So now we're just in the question, do you sign Tucker, do you re-sign Tucker? But we'll pretend that it's a contract year for both Hap and Tucker. Who do you go after harder? I say you go after Hap. Why? One, he's been here. Like, part of me as a homer is that he's been here for years. But two, Hap brings more money in to the ballpark and to Marquee Network than Tucker does.
Okay. I can give you that with the media exposure because his podcast is broadcasted on the Marquee Network.
Right. So Ian Happ is
the face of a Cub.
Ian Happ, as much as I don't like I love loyalty, but I also am not gonna say you have to just be loyal to this guy. Again, if you put PCH in that conversation, or PCA, I think PCA is great, but I think Ian Happ has to be a lifelong Cub because of what you've done with him to help him develop the podcast, to put the podcast on your station, to work with him. The Cubs have made him a lifetime Cub, period. End of story. There's no way around it. And I know that's a hard sell when you're talking business, but you've branded him the face of your franchise, the face of the fans, the love of everybody connected to your team. That's what they've done. Ian Happ has become that for the Cubs. If they got rid of him, now you got an hour-long podcast every week you got to come up with content to replace with. You got to if you find somebody that can take it, like, oh, what, are they going to call us up and give us that podcast time frame? No. So there's that. There's the fact that he's a great player. He's been with the team his whole career.
I guess I'll bring up Hap. You brought up, all right, what do you do with the outfield? It's either set. It's either you bring back Tucker and Casey is used as the piece that could get you the pitcher that you need via the trade market.
But the reason I was bringing out the outfield was because your question, do you re-sign Tucker? That's where I was trying to get. That's where I was trying to get with it. You had the question.
So I guess it comes down to: are you going to get your pitcher via trade, or are you going to get him via free agency? If it's free agency, then Tucker probably doesn't come back, and you can use that money to get the starting pitching. You can sign your starting pitchers. If he comes back, you're probably going to be using those prospects that would take Tucker's offense, that would hopefully make up the offense that you're going to lose with Tucker. And that's going to be your if you keep Tucker, if you re-sign Tucker,
the Ricketts family has enough money that it doesn't really matter. Like, let's be honest. If they want,
But they don't operate that way.
They don't. They've talked about that they're going to open up the purse strings and this, that, and the other. But you're right. They don't. They don't operate that way, so it won't be that. But re-signing Tucker takes up so much money that you have to get you have to. Paul Scans has to be your big acquisition over the offseason, right? Like, or someone like that on a rookie contract that you can trade for. Like, it has to be something like that, right?
Yeah, because your best players are tied up or behind people that are on team-friendly contracts as well.
And so I would argue I don't re-sign Tucker. I think we have the prospects to come up, give those guys a shot. They're cheap. I hate saying that they're cheap, but rookie contracts. 1, 2, and this is, again, it kind of sucks to talk about, but it happens. You have the fact that it opens up enough money to bring in starting pitching, and Tucker wasn't what we thought he was going to be. And maybe we've seen the end of Tucker's greatness, and he's on his downhill slope, and that's the problem, right? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Maybe that's where we're at right now, right?
I mean, I think Tucker was the guy that we were. The injury didn't help him either, playing through an injury and then having to go on the injured list at the wrong time.
Yep.
With what we were needing, maybe we saw 25. We got 25. I think we got 30 home runs, but we're expecting maybe 40 to 45 home runs.
Yeah.
But I think he's. I mean, Scott Boras is probably going to want a 8 to 10 year deal. And you're going to get it on the front half. But what about those years, those last 3 years of the deal?
And that's
guaranteed money. Is that the Kyle Tucker you want?
And by the way,
that answer is no.
By the way, I think you hit the nail on the head. The biggest problem with Kyle Tucker, Scott Boras. I love what he does for his players, but at the same time, what he does for his players can hurt them. And as you've already brought up, he represents his guys, and maybe Scott Boras is the best. The reason why he's the best agent ever is because he takes the hits when guys like the guys that say they save face. And he does the evil thing of not letting the home team get a discount or this, even though the players like, oh, man, the Cubs are like, Chris Bryant. We'll use Chris Bryant because he's close to us. Chris Bryant says, "Man, I hate Chicago. I don't actually really want to be there, Scott, but I can't say that out loud because if I say the quiet part out loud, I'm now eviscerated. Everybody knows that Chicago is the greatest place in sports, and if I say the quiet part out loud, then I'm a bad player on a team. I'm the bad guy on the team, and nobody wants me around, and blah blah blah. So I'm going to say all the good stuff in the public, and I'm going to be the guy that everybody thinks, oh, he wants to be here. He wants to do these things. He's a great guy. Everybody loves it, but." Scott Boras says, okay, I got you. And he does the dealing and wheeling and dealing and says, well, this is the offer we're going to take. Oh, Chicago, you didn't get to make a competitive offer? Oh, that sucks. And Scott Boras looks like the best. Maybe that's why Scott Boras is the greatest of them all. Maybe that's what's going on with all of these guys. I don't think so. But when you hire a guy like Scott Boras, you're saying you don't care. All you want is the biggest paycheck. Sure. If that's the guy that you want to be, if you want to be the biggest paid guy or you want the biggest amount of money, that's why you hire Scott Boras. But if you want to be a guy that is a homer, if you want to be a guy that says, nope, I don't care, I like this team, you will never see Shohei Ohtani sign with Scott Boras. Why? Because Shohei Ohtani wants to be loyal to the team that's going to take care of him. He wants to be able to make the decisions to do what he wants to do. And Scott Boras, at least it comes across that Scott Boras is going to make some of those decisions for you. With that, I think I think you can't sign Tucker. I think, should they re-sign Tucker? Yeah, but on a team friendly deal, because we didn't get our money's worth this year. At least the first few years have to be a team friendly deal, and you can't go past 5 years, right?
And that won't happen.
With Scott Boras, it won't happen. But I'm just saying, like, those are the terms that you got to do. I will give you the money on the back end. But these first couple years, like right now, we're in a win-now situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
So if we're in a win-now situation, if we are in a win-now situation, which I think we are, you got to be team-friendly so we can – you say, Tucker, and again, you're not talking to Tucker. You're only talking to Scott Boras, and because you're only talking to Scott Boras, you don't know if what you say to Scott is going to get over to Tucker. Now, maybe it does. Maybe Scott Boras does everything, is the greatest. But if what he does, if he's not going to allow a team-friendly first 3 years at least, and then those last 2 years are stacked, which I think he's looking at a 10-year deal, 45, 50, maybe 60 million a year at least, right? That's what he wants. We can't do that. Let him go. Bring in great pitching. That's my combination of, should they re-sign Tucker? No. And what should they do in the offseason? Take the money that you were going to have to pay Tucker and get some great pitching. I would like to see him go after 3. I think your concept of 2 greats or 2 really goods and a position, a middle guy that can get slotted in here and there, a guy that'll hold the line but not a guy that you're going to look at to be your ace. I think if you get that, I think this team is if they do that, I will put it on right now. If they do that, I'm picking them as going to the NLCS. I have a hard time picking against the Dodgers right now. But if they get 2 solid pitching, like one total ace and one on half the teams he could be an ace, but the other half he's not going to be an ace. Does that make that type of position? You know what I'm talking about? That you get those 2 guys, and then like you said, that middle guy, I will pick them right here, right now. You can hold me accountable to it. They will be in the NLCS if that happens. If it doesn't, maybe they make the playoffs. Sorry, I went on a long rant there.
That's okay. All right, Mike. We'll just do a quick rundown of the awards. The awards that the Cubs won: Ian Happ, Nico Horner, and Pete Crow Armstrong win Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
The Cubs as a team win the team Gold Glove, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you ever heard of that?
I haven't.
But
it makes sense when 3 of your 7 guys, and I think Horner and I think Swanson was probably a finalist for a Gold Glove, and I think Tucker was a finalist for a Gold Glove too.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't end up winning it. Silver Sluggers, a Silver Slugger went to Tucker, went to Kyle Tucker, And Pete Crow Armstrong made the All MLB second team.
Yep. And we discussed Pete Crow in the first half probably would have made first, but Pete Crow in the second half, probably doesn't even make it, but because of his first half, makes the second team. Is kind of how I feel about that. Okay.
Yeah, your MVPs, Aaron Judge and Shohei, all make sense. Scooball. Paul Skeens, your Cy Young Award winner, even though he had a 10-10 record. But I guess
but he also
happens when you play on a bad team.
But he also had a 1.97 ERA. Like, he also won Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Last year. Gets a Cy Young this year. I hope that whoever if he stays with I don't know who his agent is, but whoever is, this guy is going to be an expensive free agent when it happens in 2 years. Probably 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird because the MLB does not have set contracts as their rookie contracts. They get to negotiate a little bit, and it's mostly on length, right?
I believe so. It's you pick up another option, then you pick up another option, then you go to arbitration for so many years,
right?
And gradually your salary increases, but you're still under control.
Right, you're under control for significantly longer in the MLB than places like football. Or even basketball, but basketball we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, your AL Cy Young is
Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, Skubal.
He had a 13-6 record, but again, another guy that pitched a lot of innings, struck out a lot of guys.
Good guys. I do like seeing some of your best your best pitchers being on bad teams. No, I don't like seeing that, but it goes to show that the democracy of baseball is, if you are that good, you are that good, and it doesn't matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna get your spot on it. So, your rookies of the year, Rich, Nick Kurtz with the Athletics, and Drake Baldwin with the Braves.
Yeah. Cade Horton came in second place.
Yep.
Managers of the year both make sense with Pat Murphy and Stephen Voigt.
Yeah. And then I think that's all the big ones that we want to cover. Man, the Cubs having 3. We should probably offer that the Rangers won the American League Gold Glove team. They have a Silver Slugger team award. I didn't know that was a thing either. Yankees and Dodgers makes sense. I don't know anything else. Any of the other awards that you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good. I think we're getting really close to that hour mark.
We're at 48 minutes, so yeah.
Okay, so let's go over to the NFL, as we got to give we got to recap our picks from last week and also give our picks for this week. Probably before going into our shout-outs. So our quick hits keep on getting. Yeah,
sorry about that.
Moved down another week. That's okay though.
We knew that the baseball, but again, now we're going to put baseball to rest. We'll talk. We'll have a little discussion in the next week or two about
probably when the winter meetings come out.
Winter meetings, we'll have a conversation, and then then it won't be again until spring training. So, okay, or a big trade or big acquisition by the Cubs. Okay, with that, Rich, last week the Bears Giants. We both picked the Bears. Bears won 24-20, bringing both us and the Bears to 6-3 on the year. Locks of the week, Rich.
Good come from behind victory.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. We're trying to go through this quick, so I'll try not to get into it. But I've been struggling all year to say that the Bears are a good team. But one of the aspects of a good team is that they figure out how to win games and they don't use the built-in excuses. And the Cubs have been finding ways to win these really close games. And I think they're on the verge of becoming a good team territory. But the next month is huge for them. They have a terribly tough schedule in the next month, so watch for that. Locks of the week, Rich. You picked the Lions over the Commanders. Lions won 48-23, bringing you up to 8-2. Rich, how'd I do?
Mike, you picked the Buccaneers over the Patriots. The Patriots won 28-23, bringing you to 8-2 in the locks of the week. But it was the Patriots over the Buccaneers that was my upset of the week, and I finally got one, Mike, as those Pats actually won.
Yeah.
Mike, for your out of the week, you went with the divisional game, saying that the 49ers would beat the Rams, and the Rams won 42-26, dropping you to 500.
Yeah, I was doing really good at the first half of the year and not so much anymore. Rich, Thursday night we saw the Jets play the Patriots. We both picked the Patriots, and the Patriots pulled it off. You picked the Patriots to win 2 in a row, and they did it. That's amazing, Rich. Rich, you are 8-4 on the season. I am 6-6. Patriots won 27-14. Rich, Bears head to Minneapolis for the game that I won't get to watch.
Not going to get to watch it.
Yep.
Why is that, Mike?
I got to be at the musical. We have a matinee.
Oh, okay.
11 o'clock call. Okay.
All right. The Sunday matinee show?
Yep. Okay, so we have the
right.
Bears. I'm picking the Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears as well. I mean, we almost beat them. We almost beat them in week 1, and
The Vikings are.
the Vikings, I think, have gotten a. They have not played up to their schedule with having a. But that happens when you win your division. You get a tougher schedule than somebody like the Bears that came in last in their division.
Yep.
So
I think it'll be a good game. We'll see how it goes. Locks of the week, Rich. I'm going to pick the Texans over the Titans.
That's not a bad pick. Titans are struggling to win, and I think even with a backup quarterback in Davis Mills going for the Texans, I think they can still come out with a victory.
Yep.
Mike, I'll take the 49ers over the Cardinals.
Yep. Okay.
Cardinals are also with a backup quarterback, and the Niners get Brock Purdy back today.
It is a divisional game, though.
I know.
That's why I stayed away from it. But there's a lot this week, a lot of divisional games. Rich, upset of the week, I'm going to go over to Spain, and I'm going to take a backup quarterback in the Commanders over the Dolphins, mostly because I don't think the Dolphins are a good team.
Okay, I think it's. I don't know. I don't have much to talk on with the way that my upset picks have been going this year, but I think the Dolphins have somehow found a way to win football games again. And the Commanders looked pretty bad last week against the Lions.
They did, but the Lions are a really good team.
They are.
The Dolphins are winning against teams. So
okay. For my upset special, I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Steelers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers. That offense with Aaron Rodgers under center isn't doing really well. Flacco's healthy-ish, so I think he can chuck the ball down the field and he can get them a win.
By the way, if you would have said a year ago that the Steelers-Bengals would be a matchup between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco, nobody would have believed you on that.
Probably not. Thursday Night Football, Mike, probably another game I'm not going to watch. The Bills and the Texans in Houston.
I definitely won't watch it because I have a concert.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On paper, this looked like a great matchup. Now, fast forward to
Bills are going to
now. This is one where I wish that they would flex and probably put a different game in there, but I don't think we're to that point in the schedule where Thursday Night Football can flex games. So I'll go with the Bills.
Yeah, me too. Okay, with that, Rich, 6 minutes is not long enough to talk about that or that. Don't have anything for that.
Let's just go straight to our shout-outs, Mike.
I think we can talk about this one.
Okay.
One. Banana Ball is coming to a town near you. Banana Ball announced this year that they are doing a crazy amount of touring, and with that, they are going to be at Wrigley, Kinnick, Kansas City, the Twin Cities, and Milwaukee. They're adding 2 new teams to the league. Rich, your feelings on this?
You know what? I like it. If you're gonna, I like the point that they added for teams.
Yeah.
It looks like that there's a market for it. There's certainly a market for it. They're drawing the crowds. It isn't like they're picking these NFL stadiums or college stadiums and they're half full.
Right.
The demand is there, and if you got players that want to join this league to where you're drafting these people, they're not.
Yeah.
It isn't like you're having to extraordinarily pay people to play for this team over a minor league team.
Yeah.
And I think I even saw that a retired MLB player has committed to play Banana Ball for an entire year. Jackie Bradley Jr.
Wow.
He's playing. I mean, he's going to play on the newest expansion team of them, like the Indianapolis Clowns, that don't play as many games as the Bananas, but you still have a player, a former major leaguer that's going to commit to a retired player, but still an ex-major leaguer commit to playing in that league for a full year and not just a one-off, one game or one series appearance.
I love this. The thing that scares me, and I'm just saying it scares me, is how long before Banana Ball becomes the Harlem Globetrotters? What I mean by that is, and I don't mean fixed games, because obviously I don't think they're doing that. But the Harlem Globetrotters goes in ebbs and flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you hear about them anymore? They were on TV when we were kids.
I think they still do have like one on those NBC, like the More You Know educational programming. They have like a type of show that promotes the team, but it's not just them playing basketball. Yeah, you're right. You don't see the Harlem Globetrotters on TV, a game on TV. It's a program where they're involved in.
Right. And you don't see the Harlem Globetrotters doing, like, it's just, the problem is that the league, like, I love the Banana Ball rules. I think it's great. But when you're trying to reinvent the wheel, at some point, it's going to cause problems. And those problems can be anywhere from basic, the team not getting the talent that you need, to be kind of oversaturate and become a joke.
As of now, I don't see that happening, because I guess you still have a way. You can limit the schedule of you could still have your 2 full-time original teams, the Party Animals and the Bananas, playing more of a small league. So if you start to see the popularity go down, you either give more home games in your home market of Savannah, or if you're still going to travel, you can go back to playing in larger mid-market cities that have like your AAA teams and your AA teams, instead of going to these major league markets and trying to sell tickets in the MLB parks.
Yeah.
So there's a way that you can scale it back if the demand for tickets isn't there, or you're going into a market and it's like, oh, we didn't sell this game out. Yep. There's no demand. So maybe you play 1 game in that market instead of 3 games or 2 games.
Yeah.
And you put more markets. You can. I like that they're wanting to make sure that they've been to all regions of the U.S. to give everybody in the U.S. a chance to see their brand of baseball. They're not in the Canada yet. They're not going down to Mexico. They're not going over to Europe to play games. So
or Japan,
I think there's a
or
market for
Korea,
or Japan. that would be something fun to see if you saw a Japanese baseball team going in and playing at a banana ball league.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great. And that the other side is that this is right up Japan type alley. So either way, I'm excited for it, but I'm also nervous. Maybe it's the fact that my boss calls them the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, which I kind of understand. Like they kind of are. They don't have a home market, right?
But they sell out wherever they play.
But the bigger thing is that traditional baseball fans see it as kind of a joke. Now you and I don't. Some of them love it, but your older school fans, your older generation, see it as a joke. Yeah, I think it's fun. I want to go to a game, but the thing is, and this is where I check myself. Even they also have maintained that concept, whatever, of they're playing as they play banana ball. They are doing the small market. We're gonna do the banana sack race or whatever in major league stadiums. Major league stadiums.
The baby race.
Yeah, all that stuff.
The baby crawling race. They are doing major league.
But they're
doing like things that you normally see in minor league baseball in between innings at a big stadium.
And that brings families out more. That makes it more of a thing. Which is why I think they have it right. And it's, again, they're doing that stuff is what will keep it alive. Now, what they need to maybe, and this is me, my dream would, I legitimately think, and I almost applied for it last year when they put out that they were looking for a entertainment person, a host, an MC for the games that were being played, not with the Savannah Bananas, because
I think each individual team has its like kind of host or game host or hype guy.
Right. They actually at the time when I looked at it, they only had two, or they only had one, and it was the owner, and that's why they were only playing games one at a time. They were trying to get more hype people and stuff like that. So they need to make sure they have the entertainers in place. But, and the thing that they've currently are doing, and like you mentioned, they've been able to maintain, they're keeping the quality of the sporting high enough that it's worth going to see. So, with that, Rich, any shout-outs for the week?
No, not this week.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Neither did I. With that, if you are watching the show on YouTube, but you want to take us in your car and listen to us, you can find us wherever you find your podcast. If you want to participate in our poll questions, check us out check us out on Facebook.com/Balls&Sticks, fans of Balls and Sticks, or Rich and mine's Facebook page. And finally, Rich, if they want to, what was the other one? Oh, if you want to watch us live, where should they do that at?
Look us up on YouTube.
At Balls and Sticks.
Where you catch us, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
With that, let's go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.